Hello YouTube, I'm Inofis here, and I'm going to make a little video about the museum and how it works. And yeah, I'm just going like, let's start here. You have the four buttons on the right side, and the lowest one is crafting. So you craft artifacts by these shards. Right now I have 329, and I could spend 300 to get 3 artifacts, which I'm not going to do because I think this is the dumbest thing you could do. You just always wait until you get at least 475 of these shards, and then you spend them to produce 5 artifacts. So then you have, you see right now, the artifacts I have equipped. You can have them in the storage. You can see here that this one is weaponry slot, this one is an armory slot, this one has a jewelry slot, this one is a pottery slot, and this one is a legendary slot. And you can only put in these shelves the fitting counterpart of a weapon, armor, and so on. So then you can see here the museum resources. These stuff you do need that to level up your artifacts. Most of my artifacts are level 1. You can see this by the star below each artifact. There's a level 2 star and there's a 5 star. Well, I bought some artifact. It was on sale. I bought it. I couldn't resist it because it gives so nice stats. But later on to that. And then you can see here the active benefits. And it's also to point out that these benefits are from artifacts currently on display. They do not affect World War. Okay, so there you see my active stats. Alright, then let's go to my storage. Here you can see all my artifacts. I have a capacity of 40, right now I have 21 artifacts. You can arrange them or sort them, and I go always for category. It's a little bit clunky, this thing here, because it by default goes on newest, and I cannot change it. I've tried it, it is not possible. If you find out the way, I would really like to know how to do that, because like it's on default. So this in brackets, I can maybe put the default in category, which would be a lot more interesting. Anyway, so each artifact gives you stats. The weaponry stat. The weaponry slot always gives you offensive stats, the armory slot gives you always defensive stats, which means by armory it always affects when you're getting attacked. Your weapon is never going to influence your defensive stats while you're being attacked. It always buffs your offense while attacking. And so on. So you have the offense, the defense, then you have the jewelry. Jewelry gives you utility for your attacks. So more oil, more gold, more national trade good, and so on. So these are the stats you can get on these. And then you have the pottery, and pottery always gives you the stuff which you have in your base. It buffs your oil income, your gold income, just by producing your caravans and farms and oil wells and so on. And like just like utility for your economy. And then you have the legendary slot. This one speaks for itself. It has 5 active abilities, and I want to point out only the enemy defender spawn time plus 12% is pretty huge. So it takes longer for when I attack for the enemy buildings to spawn units each wave. I think this really pays off. And then I tried to utilize more out of each other to add with adding. So I have this weapon here, and you can see as a secondary not activated ability yet the defender spawn time. That would add up. So minus 6%, this would add up to 18% of enemy defender spawning. So this would be very interesting stat to get, but right now I cannot unlock it because I need to have 400 quivers, but I just have 250. But you can see this artifact has 4 stats which are higher than plus 1%. It has 4 stats above 6% and 1 above 12%, which is nice. And so this is my criteria why I keep some artifacts, is the amount of high stats it offers. A lot of times you get bad items. Sorry, I have some hiccup. Here you can see it has 3 stats which are above 6% and 2 stats below it, and it always is at 1%, 6%. I think 11% can also be. I've seen something, I don't know, like yeah, I think 11 was another stat. 1, 6 and 11 are the stats which you can have in first row, like you see on the sides here. So let's go through my weapons. While you can see fighter damage. What does fighter damage mean? I'm not really sure what it actually means. Does it mean all fighting units I have on the battlefield while I attack? Or does it mean only a specific unit? Is it the melee fighter? Which I think it is, but I would hope it would mean like all my fighting units, but I doubt it. Because if you see on the following spots, you have always a very specific kind of troop. Paratrooper is, for example, the troops you spawn out of other units. So later on in game, you have units which spawn units. Then you have heavy cavalry, and then you have these two stats which are very specific on one unit. Later on, you can see I have like enemy defenders like wall zapper damages and mortar troop damage. So this is all going very specific. So I think it means more that it's just my melee attacker. But ranged infantry hit points is interesting. So you have always a lot of archers. I was really hardly considering taking this because infantry hit points and infantry damage together, both on level 1 and level 2, is pretty strong, because by leveling up the item I have to spend 400, and if I would have spent it already and I want to proceed to level 3 to get paratrooper hit points as well, I would need to pay more than 400. I would need to pay 750, I guess, or 720. I haven't gone so far yet. I need to get that into my knowledge, I don't know. And yeah, so this was my way how to approach this, and everybody think I has this kind of weapon which is really bad and which was the very first item you used all your resources on, to just find out, okay, what is it for? Well, I did it. I was a dumb guy. Actually, I know I shouldn't do it, but I did it. And I think everybody has to go through some shit sometimes, self-produced. Okay, and these are my 4 weapons. Fighter damage, enemy defender spawn time. So I have this one already with like 2%, which would have with 12, then with 14%. No. Ranged siege damage, fighter damage, general's damage. I've already ranged infantry hit points. I think I will go for that one instead. Yeah, I think it's very worth it. Hit points is having nice, and I have my university. I have them already buffed to the plus 10 levels in each thing, so it pays off for me. And then I have here oil looted. Of course, I will always go for oil. I can also go for example, for national trade good, but I didn't go for that because I have enough national trade goods. So I think, okay, I will go for oil. And actually, you always need oil. You always want to go for oil, my opinion. Get your generals up as fast as you can. Oil from oil wells, obviously, I want to have more oil. I can also have like more vault interest, but there's, for example, there's one thing I want to point out. There's a nice pottery, which gives you the possibility to store more resources in your vault. So before I put my resources into the vault, I'm going to activate that, because I get a percentage interest. Later on you can activate it in the library, that you get interest by storing some resources. And by taking it out, I have one which gives me more interest. So I have already more oil stored, and I get even more oil whenever I take it out. So I just need to be cautious that I always put the right pottery inside. Right now, I want to have more oil. Yeah, this one is obvious. So my attacking things stats are these ones. Alright, my friends, this was it. I think I hope I answered a lot of your questions. See ya.